Good evening. My name is Richard Bright. I'm the organizer of this ArcSearch LLC expedition team, and we have a team of some remarkable men here. We've had some accomplishments this year, and I'm going to focus now on one particular accomplishment that happened today. I'd like to introduce the American geologist, Dr. Don Patton, to discuss the events of the day. Doctors?
I'm Dr. Don Patton, a consulting geologist in Port Arthur, Texas. None of our team get any salary or any income from this. This is a piece of wood from a site that has claimed to be the site of Noah's Ark. It's actually a site that has been built like a movie set. I was taken by the fellow who had been working with Parachute for years and actually had built the site. It's not an easily accessible place, but I'll be 70 years old in less than a year, and I made it. And so I don't think accessibility is the reason why he's not showing it to people. When you see pictures, you just see this narrow view. You don't see backup and context. That would, of course, expose the fraud. And they'll say, well, it's too dangerous to get there. Well, it's not. I got there and didn't have that big a problem. There are some stationary glaciers, but they're fairly rare. This one is a very, very steep mountainside that it's on, and it's moving rapidly down the hill. One of the clues and obvious indications is it's full of rocks, and it's sampling those rocks as it travels. The ice moves something like a tractor tread, and it will pick up pieces and just grind them up, and you have dirty ice and debris in it, and it's moving pretty rapidly. And so in a few months since the movies have been made, it's moved enough to destroy what they built. If it were moving a foot a day, it wouldn't surprise me at all. If your house is moving down the hill a foot a day, in a few months it's going to be all twisted and distorted, and certainly if it's made of ice. A Chinese evangelistic group and Mr. Parachute, who is a Turkish resident. This is the evangelistic group in Hong Kong. I think they are probably deceived. The story that we got was that Parachute built this movie set, and then it would be inspected by Parachute and some of those working with him. A couple of the Chinese are in on the fraud, and if it's appropriate, if it's right, then they'll go ahead and make the movie. If it's not right, they'll have to change it. And once they get it built appropriately, they call Hong Kong, they come make the movie, and then they announce to the world they found the Ark. So now the people in Hong Kong, I've met them, I know them well, I've been their guest in Hong Kong. I would like to think they're being deceived. But the people here, especially Mr. Parachute and the two Chinese that are here in Dogabasa, they know better. They're part of the fraud. They're participating in it. And they have financially backed Mr. Parachute, and they've made the claim that they found Noah's Ark. And they have walls of wood that they have built. Right now, however, there is nothing to be seen because it's all going charging down the mountain. When you look into the crevasse, you can see the wood from the demolished wall at the bottom. This is, of course, in the summer. After a number of months, we see the wood has come apart. It has, as a result of the moving glacier and the melting, demolished what had been built. When you look at this spot, you see the actual place where the picture was taken when it was beautifully built months earlier. This is according to the one who did the building, who took us to the spot and showed it to us. And when you compare that with the pictures on the website, you see first, from this perspective, a very different view. It's much lower, it's down in the crevasse. And looks very much like a confined room, perhaps in the Ark. But when you look at a larger context, a picture now from their own website, You see, this is in the bottom of a crevasse, and it's wood that is built into the wall. And that's especially obvious when you see this larger context from the top of the crevasse, again from their own website. Here is the wood that is built into the wall, and it's a fraud. Now, looking at it at the lower right-hand corner, you see that looks pretty much like a room in the Ark. But at the bottom of a crevasse, that's a very different picture. It's wood built into the ice. This is the way it looked months later in the middle of the summer with meltwater at the bottom and floating debris from the wood that they had built into the wall. This is an obvious fraud. Claim was made a number of years ago, about 3 years ago. First, they found a piece of wood, and I was flown over from America for the press conference in Dogabasset, and they were showing to the press this big piece of wood, which wasn't wood at all. I was as respectful as I could. I was misrepresented and claimed that I said it was wood. I said it looked like wood, but when you look at it under high power magnification, it very obviously is not. The sheen shows this is mineral, not vegetable. And I presented a 25-page report to the people in Hong Kong showing that it was not wood at all. And they just kind of dropped it as far as I was concerned, though they still make the claim. From that, they responded to a claim that Parachute made that he was in the Ark, standing there. It was slanted down the mountain, and he was in one of the rooms, and then he would take us up and show it to us. So I flew to Turkey and expected to be taken up and shown it. Of course, that never happened. We were shown some pictures. Some of them had trees and grass in it, which obviously wasn't at 14,000 feet. Some of them were of a cave about 50 miles from Mount Ararat that obviously was not the place in Noah's Ark, though that picture appeared in the Ark Summit that was held here at Dogabasset, where Parachute spoke, claiming to be searching on for Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. He was 50 miles away. It's a resort area. It's a joke. This is wood, and this was recovered on a trip I made September 4th and 5th, just a few days ago, to the site that has been built. We climbed down into a crevasse, one of the fellows that was with us, at a significant risk, by the way, and we saw several pieces of wood floating in the glacial melt down in the bottom of the crevasse near where one of the caves was, and so we climbed down and got some of the wood. A few months ago, a good bit of it occurred, and the latest claims. But in these crevasses and in the caves, they had gone down into this moving glacier and built walls of this wood. They had hired two carpenters from the Black Sea. They brought wood. It is very carefully charred, and you can see the even black ring around the edge, I guess you would say, maybe a millimeter. As you look at the cracked area, you can actually see fresh wood in the cracks. It's just a surface phenomenon. It has been burned, as you can tell. But this is fresh wood, something like you might find in an orange crate. It's not balsa wood, but it's not much heavier. It is heavier, but not a lot heavier than that. This is fresh wood, but it doesn't look like that because it has been charred, burned. It's a fraud. It was built into the ice, and they took pictures, and now then it's all been destroyed by the moving glacier. And looking at this planed surface, this is machined.
I'm Dr. Salih Bayraktutan. I have spent more than 25 years in eastern Anatolia, Caucasia, and northwest Iran, this area, on active tectonics, volcanology, and earthquakes. I know some previous idea about this group, these people, before they construct this structure. I mean, I was aware of this issue, this activity previously, even my involvement is also supposed, but I didn't accept it. And when I see this sample, it's very clear that from the cross section, fresh wood, but burned on surfaces to maybe 1 millimeter, 1 or 2 millimeters, under control. When you handle, you see very fresh, you know, black burnt. How do you call these things? It's
Charred wood.
Charcoal.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
very obvious it's fresh wool. I mean modern wool. This structure, features, texture, everything is very modern. So there's no need for dating or another technical, analysis.
Well, if you're going to do testing, you want to put it in the aluminum foil to keep it from being contaminated. If you're going to do carbon-14, but there's no need to do carbon-14 on this. This is fresh wood. Anybody that looks at that knows that it is. And the geologist who's working with us kind of snickered when we talked about carbon-14 dating. Who needs that? You can look at it, you see the fresh wood through the cracks. If somebody wants it done, I guess we could do it, but it's obvious on the face of it. We were carried there by an individual who's been working with Parachute for a number of years, and who was there and participated in the building of all of these sites that had been filmed and claimed to be Noah's Ark. He built it. As he put it, he was building a movie set. He was building something they could take a video of, then to show the world. And then he just got rather aggravated at the fact that he was supporting a lie and was willing to take us to the site and show it to us. According to him, they're actually beginning Monday building Noah's house on the other side of the mountain. And they're going to find that in about a year. And we're announcing it right now, but they're beginning Monday. And about a year from now, you'll hear that they found Noah's house. And this is the kind of thing that they've been doing for the past year. It's a deliberate and rather stupid fraud. You don't build something like this in a moving glacier. It's absurd. And you don't build it out of almost balsa wood. This light, fresh wood, even though it's charred, if you only look at it through the camera lens, you can make it look pretty convincing. But then when you pick it up and hold it and look at it, it's obviously something else. It's a movie set, and that's a very accurate description.